Do you guys remember 2002 when the Angels had that mascot called the Rally Monkey that helped them win a world championship? Well, I've got the perfect mascot for 2020. The Outbreak Monkey. Okay, so we finally got to see Gerrit Cole make his home debut last night. I thought he was okay. I thought he was pretty good. He's been pretty good so far. The numbers would tell you he's been great. He's 3-0 with a 2.55 ERA. He's got a whip, walks and hits per innings pitched, under 1. That's about as good as it gets. The only thing missing so far is the strikeouts. Just out of curiosity, I wanted to go back and see how he started off last year, if he had the strikeout pitch going right from the get-go. And, he did. He had 10 strikeouts and then 9 strikeouts in his first couple of starts, 11 in his fourth start, 10, and then 11, and then 12 later on. But if you look at his overall numbers through his first 11 starts of 2019, in which he was 20-5 with a 2.50 ERA, he wasn't great. He was 4-5 with a 4.11 ERA, although he did have 100 strikeouts in the first 65 and two-thirds innings, so he was definitely missing a lot of bats. But this year, it's been kind of the reverse. He's been pitching well, just not as many strikeouts. Maybe he's trying to be more democratic, throw some more ground balls, because strikeouts are fascist, as they say in Bull Durham. But, Gerrit Cole, I think, he's going to change the rotation. He seems to go deep into the game every time. Obviously, the first time out, the game was rained out after 5 innings, so he didn't get to go much further. But usually he's going to go 6-7 innings, and that's going to save the bullpen. And he's usually going to get you a W. And with this offense, he doesn't even need to be that great. The offense is going to take pressure off of him because they're going to score for him every time. So, Gerrit Cole, I think, has been impressive so far. I think he's obviously living up to the contract at this point. 3-0, 2.55 ERA. Can't complain about that. But we'll see how it goes. The big test is going to be if they finish out the season, how he does in the postseason. If he goes, I don't care if he goes 10-0 during this abbreviated season. If he goes 0-2 in the postseason, gets clobbered a couple of times by the Rays or the Twins, serving up the home run ball, and the Yankees make an exit, nobody's going to remember the 10-0. That's something that Gerrit Cole is going to learn about New York very quick. What have you done for me when it counts? But so far, so good for Gerrit Cole. One guy for whom the reviews have been universally positive, and for me not surprising, Argeo Urschella. Now, Urshela was a guy who had bounced around the major leagues and the minor leagues for years and years and years. He was with the Indians in 2017 when the Yankees beat them in the American League Division Series. And then the Yankees acquired him from the Blue Jays the following year. He was known as kind of a glove-first third baseman who had some potential with the bat because he wasn't really following through with his swing. He was kind of, giving up after he made contact. So he wasn't driving through the baseball. And the Yankees noticed this. And they noticed that he already had decent exit velocity on the ball. Not great, but they thought that if they tweaked his mechanics a bit, that they could create more exit velocity, that they could create a better hitter. And Gio Urshela is just amazing. He is terrific on both sides of the ball. A lot of people last year thought it was a fluke. I thought it was a breakout, just simply because of his changed approach. And I'm telling you guys, this resurgence of Gio Urshela is for real. He's had 35 at-bats. He's got 3 home runs. He's got 9 RBIs. His OPS is 1.067. 1.067. Last year, he had a higher OPS than Miguel Andujar did the previous year with better defense. So Gio Urshela is locked in at third base. And best of all, he's only 28 years old. He doesn't have a ton of mileage on him because he hasn't been playing over the last several years very much. He's been kind of a journeyman and a bench guy. So his legs are fresh, and with a mature approach at the plate and a focused approach on defense, he's a legit MVP candidate. The Yankees have a few of those. if you haven't noticed. DJ LeMahieu is having a great season. He's off to a great start. He's batting .412 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. Luke Voit has an .863 OPS with 3 home runs and 6 RBIs. And then who could forget Aaron Judge? Aaron Judge is batting .314 with 6 home runs and 14 RBIs in 35 at-bats. 40 plate appearances. He's got just 2 walks, 12 strikeouts. He's not walking much because he's being aggressive at the plate, and because who are you going to pitch to? You got Gleyber Torres behind him most of the time. You got Giancarlo Stanton behind him. The lineup is just deadly, 1-9. And so you have to pitch to Judge. And most of the time, he's just going to crush you. Gleyber Torres off to a bit of a slow start, 179, 1 home run, 2 RBIs. Brett Gardner hitting just 105, but he does have 2 home runs. He went Oppo Boppo last night. Hadn't seen him do that very often. I think he did it once last year. I mean, Phil Hughes had a tweet last night where he said that Major League Baseball has a problem with the baseballs if Brett Gardner can do that. And I don't disagree. But it also has to do, it has to do with his swing path. I mean, there's a reason he hit 28 home runs last year. Not everybody hit 28 home runs last year. He's he's got a good swing. He's improved his launch angle. And so that's why he's hitting more home runs. But he isn't making a ton of contact at this point. So something to keep your eye on. Aaron Hicks not making a ton of contact either, batting .182 with 1 home run, 3 RBIs, .788 OPS. He's looked good on defense, except for 1 or 2 plays. But offensively, he's taking pitches. He's working the count. He's a power threat. He almost hit a home run right-handed the other night against Boston, but it was caught at the warning track. He has 1 home run left-handed, 7 walks, 7 strikeouts. So Aaron Hicks, I think, is going to have a nice season, but he's still recovering from Tommy John, so don't expect him to be at full strength until next year. Giancarlo Stanton is at 296 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. He obviously got out of the gate very quick. He's cooled off some, but still has a 1.065 OPS. So Giancarlo Stanton is a big threat. He's healthy. He's light. His legs look like they're in good shape. He stole a base the other day. He scored from second on a base hit to right. So Giancarlo Stanton moving around well, seems healthy. If he can stay healthy, the Yankees are going to be in good shape. One guy who has not been good is Gary Sanchez. He's batting just .080 with a robust slugging percentage of .120. He's got a negative 22 OPS plus. He's 2 for 25 with 1 RBI. I know a lot of people say we should have just kept Romine and started Romine. Romine is not better than Sanchez. Sanchez, though, is in an ice-cold streak. It seems like every year he comes into camp and everybody says, this is the year that Sanchez is going to win an MVP. Ever since he had that 20 home run stretch during his rookie season, the expectations for him have been very high. He's got a very fundamentally sound swing. He's got the perfect swing for generating power. That's why when he does hit one well, he can hit it as far as anybody. He hit one .493 against Detroit. He hit one .484 against San Francisco. I think that was a grand slam. So he's got power. He's got as much power as anybody. But the problem is that he can't hit a slider, that he doesn't lay off the slider, and that he gets too pull happy. Now, we've seen him try and correct that this week. He's gone to the opposite field with, he had a single and a double. The other night, he just missed on a fastball that he had a long fly out on, but it was one of those pitches where he was right on it. He had it timed perfectly, but he just swung under it a bit. So I felt like last night he was going to break out. Of course, he didn't. He should get some more at-bats later this week against Philadelphia in the doubleheader. I still think he's close. I think it won't be long before Gary Sanchez starts hitting. I'm a big believer in Gary Sanchez as a streaky hitter. He'll go on these long, extended slumps, but he'll also have a very long, extended hot streak. So the problem with Sanchez right now is that he started off the season in one of these cold streaks, and so everybody's just, seeing the negative. So hopefully he'll turn it around soon, and we can get a glimpse at the real Gary Sanchez. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the Yankees pitching staff. We have a new pitching coach named Matt Blake, and I thought 9 games, though a small sample size, is a good time to evaluate how guys have looked. We already talked about Gerrit Cole. I think Jordan Montgomery has looked tremendous. I can't wait to see him pitch again. He's got ace potential, in my opinion. James Paxton has been crap. I don't think we can really blame that on Matt Blake, though, because, Paxton's velocity is way down, and he had that back surgery, so I think he's just got some lingering effects. Jay Happ was not good, gave up 4 runs in 4 innings his first time out. His velocity was down a tick from spring training, but he's also going to be 38 in a couple of weeks. So Jay Happ is, he's not going to get better at this point. He might have some good starts, but he's not going to improve dramatically. Masihiro Tanaka, his first start out, his velocity was up. He had 3 strikeouts. I thought the depth on the splitter was good. He seems to have gone back to his old grip that he had when he first got to America. But 2 2/3 innings, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts in his first appearance. He's 31 years old. He's probably got some good years left in him. It'd be interesting to see if the Yankees re-sign him. If I'm the Yankees, and I had to decide between Paxton and Tanaka, I'm going with Tanaka because he's a crafty guy, and he takes the ball, and I feel like he's just gonna have a better 30s decade than James Paxton, but they may not sign either. They spent a lot of money on Gerrit Cole. They might choose to go with some of the younger guys, the Mike Kings, the Clark Schmidts. I'm really anxious to see Clark Schmidt. I think they need to get him up here. I've mentioned him a few times. The bullpen, Zach Britton looks good. His velocity's been nice, 95 miles an hour, good sink. He's shown a little bit of a breaking ball that he threw last year. Speaking of breaking balls, Chad Green has a new breaking ball that he's worked with Matt Blake on. That's gotten better every single time out. His fastball is still mid-90s, maybe not quite the 97, 98 that he was a couple years ago, but again, that could build up because he's a relief pitcher, and a lot of times that comes with extended work. Luis Avalon, lefty, is getting a lot of work. He's thrown 3 2/3 innings. He's got 6 strikeouts. He's good against lefties. I don't think he's had a ton of time to work with Matt Blake yet, but let's give him a chance. He's looked good so far. Adam Ottavino's been terrific, 3 2/3 scoreless innings. And David Hale has been pretty good, 3 1/3 innings, 3 strikeouts, just 1 run. We've seen Mike King. His stuff has been solid. It hasn't been tremendous. He's had good movement, 93, 94, but he is serving up some home run balls. He's pitched 7 innings. He's given up 3 home runs, 6 runs. Both of those are too many. But he does have 0 walks and 6 strikeouts. Loaizaga, if he can stay healthy, I'm a big fan of Loaizaga. His fastball has been 98, 99. His breaking ball is disgusting. So look for Loaizaga to continue to improve. And then Nick Nelson is the guy I talked about earlier this week. If you missed one of the episodes, I think he's got potential to be a Tommy Kahnle replacement because he's got a 98 to 99 mile an hour fastball, a high 80s changeup with great sink, and he's got a nasty hook. So I really like what I'm seeing from the pitching staff so far. I would like to see Paxton's velocity go back up. Somebody mentioned in the comments that they think they're going to give, they think the Yankees are going to give Paxton 1 more start. Would not surprise me if they do. Would not surprise me if they give him 5 more starts. But, James Paxton, in my opinion, he looks like a guy who is a shadow of his former self. So let's stick with it. Let's give these guys a chance to get better. And before we judge Matt Blake's performance too much, so far the pitching has not been a problem. The offense apparently looks good. I think the Yankees are the best team in baseball at this point. I know the Dodgers are good. The Astros are good again. The Astros not playing as well, but the Astros still have a lot of talent on that team. So they lost Justin Verlander for the year, though. So going through the Yankees without Cole and Verlander, I don't think that's going to happen. So really, in my opinion, the Yankees are the team to beat in 2020 in the American League East. That's pretty clear. In the American League at large, that seems to be likely. And in Major League Baseball, the Dodgers are really the only team that I think can compete with them. So, looks like it's going to be a fun year.